That is a ridiculous question, and I
Yes or no?
No.
I will
sorry,
take,
Mr.
I will
Chairman,
take
but
that as a yes.
I am not going to respond to that kind of personal attack, which is not a question.
You just watched a sitting member of Congress treat a veteran American diplomat like an enemy combatant, not a witness. The goal wasn't truth. It wasn't accountability. It was humiliation. What you're about to hear is why this matters far beyond one hearing. Because when elected officials turn our government into a theater stage, America loses strength, credibility, and dignity on the world stage. Stay with me, because this tells a much bigger story about what's going wrong in Washington and why we cannot keep letting extremists turn our institutions into circus tents.
Mr. Adams, in 1991, you pleaded guilty to 2 counts of withholding information from Congress regarding your involvement in the Iran-Contra affair, for which you were later pardoned by President George H.W. Bush. I fail to understand why members of this committee or the American people should find any testimony that you give today to be truthful.
If I can respond to that.
It wasn't a question.
On February,
that was not a question. That was I reserve the right to my time.
It is not right.
That was not a
question.
question.
Committee can attack
on February 8th,
who is not permitted to reply.
That was not a question. Thank you for your participation. On February 8th, 1982, you testified before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee about U.S. policy in El Salvador. In that hearing, you dismissed as communist propaganda report about the massacre of El Mozote, in which more than 800 civilians, including children as young as 2 years old, were brutally murdered by U.S.-trained troops. During that massacre, some of those troops bragged about raping a 12-year-old girl before they killed them. Girls before they killed them. You later said that the U.S. policy in El Salvador was a fabulous achievement. Yes or no, do you still think so?
From the day that President Duarte was elected in a free election to this day, El Salvador has been a democracy. That's a fabulous achievement.
Yes or no, do you think that massacre was a fabulous achievement that happened under our watch?
That is a ridiculous question, and I
yes or no?
No.
I will
Chairman,
take that as a yes.
I am not going to respond to that kind of personal attack, which is not a question.
Yes or no, would you support an armed faction within Venezuela that engages in war crimes, crimes against humanity or genocide, if you believe they were serving U.S. interest, as you did in Guatemala, El Salvador, and Nicaragua?
I am not going to respond to that question. I'm sorry. I don't think this entire line of questioning is meant to be real questions, and so I will not reply.
Whether under your watch, a genocide will take place, and you will look the other way because American interests were being upheld, is a fair question, because the American people want to know that anytime we engage a country, that we think about what our actions could be and how we believe our values are being furthered. That is my question. Will you make sure that human rights are not violated and that we uphold international and human rights?
I suppose there is a question in there, and the answer is that the entire thrust of American policy in Venezuela is to support the Venezuelan people's effort to restore democracy to their country. That's our policy.
I don't think anybody disputes that. The question I had for you is that does the interest of the United States include protecting human rights and include protecting people against genocide?
That is always the position of the United States.
Thank you. I yield back my time.
Before we get into the breakdown, hit like, tap subscribe, and turn on notifications. We dig into the truth here, without the media filter and without bowing to the outrage mob. Here's the thing. That entire exchange was never about policy in Latin America. It was never about human rights. It was a performance, engineered to get a clip trending on Twitter, not to find answers or improve American foreign policy. The Congresswoman came in with her script ready, her accusations loaded, and her mind closed. You could see it from the first second. She didn't want dialogue. She wanted a target. Elliott Abrams is a man who has served under multiple presidents. You can debate his decisions. You can criticize foreign policy choices. Every administration deserves scrutiny. But when you treat a witness like he's already guilty, when you twist historical context into a cheap soundbite, you don't look like a warrior for justice. You look like a politician chasing internet applause instead of protecting American interests. Let's break it down. Instead of engaging serious questions about democracy in Venezuela, she dredged up a decades-old controversy and demanded a yes or no confession to an event he never supported. That's not oversight. That's character assassination. Yes or no traps are designed to force a headline, not find truth. And when Abrams tried to clarify, she cut him off, repeatedly, because the conversation wasn't the point. The moment was the point. The clip, the viral outrage. What this really means is simple. Some people in Congress don't see their job as protecting America. They see their job as attacking America's representatives, undermining U.S. diplomacy, and grandstanding to activist audiences who cheer conflict, not solutions. And look at the irony. Someone who benefited from America, who escaped chaos and tyranny and rose to the highest levels of opportunity this country offers, using that platform not to elevate the nation but to insult it. That behavior isn't principled, it's reckless. Foreign policy isn't a playground. It's not TikTok content. Our allies pay attention. Our enemies pay attention. Every time a member of Congress cheapens our institutions for clout, China smiles. Iran laughs. Moscow claps. Because division and self-destruction in America is their dream scenario. When we send representatives to Washington, we deserve leaders, not performance activists. We deserve debate. We deserve professionalism. We deserve people who understand the gravity of foreign policy decisions and the sacrifices behind them. Instead, we watched a tantrum dressed up as moral high ground. If you think America needs leaders who defend the nation's interests instead of tearing down everyone who served before them, stay tuned. We've got a lot more to unpack. And if you're tired of the political circus, tired of unserious people treating Congress like a social media set, then do your part. Like, subscribe, share this, because sunlight beats propaganda every single time. America deserves better than theatrics and resentment. It deserves strength, duty, gratitude, and backbone. I'll see you in the next one. And trust me, the fight for this country's dignity is just getting started.